Guys, welcome. My name is Abby Peters, and today I'm going to be talking about texting and driving. So to start out, have you or anyone you've known been in a car while they're texting and while they're checking emails or on social media? I know for myself, I am guilty of doing that. As we know, texting and driving is life-threatening and it's caused a lot of accidents. It's a growing trend within the community, and we know it's a dangerous trend. Our phones are becoming a daily necessity, and with that, we're becoming addicted to our phones. So we have to have them at all times. So today, I want to present this to you so we can understand the effects and hazards. So we're going to talk about what exactly is texting and driving, who is texting and driving, where it's happening, and the laws created to protect our community. So what exactly is texting and driving? It's anything you're doing while operating a motor vehicle, you being on your phone, talking on your phone, writing a message, writing an email, anything that is taking your hands away from the wheel. The National Safety Committee says that 1.6 million crashes involve a cell phone. They say that your reaction time is that of a 7-year-old when driving. They say that when they took a survey, 52% of teenagers admit that they're on a cell phone, and that's just them admitting it. I doubt that all teenagers are going to admit that they are on a cell phone when driving. 34% admit that they text while driving, so I'm sure some of them kind of lied on that because I have a feeling there's a lot more than 34%. There's 21% accidents that are fatal between the ages of 16 and 19. And they suggest, or they would think that this is going to rise 4% every 4 years. So that means in 2018, 50% of accidents are going to be due to cell phone usage. If you're driving 55 miles per hour, and they say that while looking at your phone, it takes about 5 seconds to write or read a text message. And within that time frame, going 55 miles an hour, it is the length of a football field. So just imagine yourself walking across a football field, how long that takes. That's as far as you're driving when you're texting. So raise your hand if your parents own a cell phone. Okay, so everyone here. I was going to keep going, but your parents have a cell phone, that probably means that you have a cell phone, and if you have kids, that probably means that your kids have a cell phone. So we're going to discuss the age limits for cell phones. As we know, it's a main communication for everyone, and they say that it's decreasing our face-to-face social skills. So there's no age limit. Anyone can buy a phone unless you're the person buying the contract or whatever. Forbes magazine says that 6 billion out of 7 billion people in the world own a cell phone. That means that there are more people with access to a cell phone than there are with a running toilet. Only 4.5 billion people have access to a toilet, which is pretty crazy since toilets have been around for centuries and cell phones have only been around for about 30 years. So that's pretty interesting to look back and see that stat. So as we look at the state laws, we're going to talk about what the government is doing to protect our community with different laws. And as a driver, what does that mean for you? So in July 2012, Idaho became the 37th state to pass the law for no texting and driving, and the infraction is $81.50, so you can get a ticket for that. We still haven't passed the law where you can use a cell phone while driving. You can still talk on your cell phone. And there's 7 states in America that says that you cannot use a cell phone at all while driving. And a couple other laws would include school bus drivers. If they have passengers on the bus, no using cell phones at all. No texting, no calling, anything. President Obama has required that all federal employees not use a cell phone at all while driving. And now we're going to get into some stories that you can kind of probably relate to. You might know somebody that's gotten in a severe accident due to texting and driving, or you might have heard stories. So we're going to start out with a local girl. Her name's Ashley Zumberman, and this is her in this picture here. This is her and her daughter. About 4 years ago, she was texting and driving. She was texting her husband, and she was texting him, "I love you, have a good day." And she was on Highway 55. She overcorrected while driving, and she rolled in her car, and she went flying out of her car. So passerby stopped to help her, and I'll show you a picture of her car here. So you can kind of see it's in a ditch right here, and here are all the volunteers helping to get her out. Or she's already out, is what she said in her story. But she said when volunteers tried to move her, she knew she was paralyzed from the waist down, and she kept telling them, I'm paralyzed, I can't move, I can't move. And she has not spoken out about this in 4 years because she was so ashamed and so embarrassed that she caused her own paralyzation. And so now she's speaking out and trying to educate everyone about the dangers of it. And her daughter, being so young, doesn't quite understand what paralyzed is, and she thinks that mommy's going to be walking again and mommy's going to come and play with me soon. So she feels super guilty, she feels super ashamed, but she feels like getting out, talking to students and talking to the community is going to help her heal. So I thought that was a really good story. I think it's really brave of her to share that with everyone. I think that with more speakers and with more testimonials of this, we'll share awareness and be more careful. Something you might have heard about was the Chatsworth train wreck in LA in 2008. There was a metro train carrying passengers, and there was a freight train carrying freight items. And I think his name is Robert Lopez, 46 years old, was driving the metro train. He was texting on the job, and it was a one-way track, about to become a one-way track, and he missed his red light, signaling him to stop at the red light so that the other train, the freight train, could pass through the one-way track. He missed that red light just by a second, I'm sure, and had no time to apply his brakes. And the freight train saw the metro train coming and had 2 seconds to apply his emergency brakes. And they were both going about 42 miles an hour head on. And this train wreck caused 25 deaths and 135 injuries. And so I have pictures of that as well. It was a huge collision. So you can see from this aerial shot all the fireworkers, the helicopters, they're at the scene. Then we have a couple more. Pile up there, all the workers in orange. And then the last one, right here. So you can only imagine being on that scene and how devastating that was for everyone involved in that. So something as simple as texting on the job caused lives of so many and affected lives of so many. So I hope that today you can learn a little bit more about texting and driving, and I hope that I shed some light on the dangers. And thanks for attending.